the base of love. In the world you see how children live in harmony. The things are not from heaven sent, but as dogs there will be men. Are fed everywhere and all around, even on the floor but do not sound. Now takes the time to get something said. Rhythm and drums and the movement track. The base of love. In the world you see how children live in harmony. The things are not from heaven sent, but as dogs there will be men. Are fed everywhere and all around, even on the floor but do not sound. But very nice. Hope you felt this more than twice. From the sky and all above. Come on, see the base of love.
Okay, this is my video about how the aliens, mainly reptilians, like to put sex, any kind of sex, in my experiences. And also I think some dreams, like some dream, I can pretty much tell, but some dreams, like maybe I'm way off, I don't know, but some dreams I think could be created by just implants alone. I guess that's called, I guess it's called artificial intelligence or whatever. Like, cause like my sister said tonight, you know, she watched this video where the man wanted to marry a snake or whatever, and then she said she had a dream, and you know, the next day she had a dream, and no telling if, you know, most people, they don't know how to classify their dreams, but could have been a virtual reality type of experience, but she called it a dream. But she said she had a dream where all these snakes were coming up out of the ground or whatever. And that happens to me a lot too. Like if I'm sitting there at the bookstore, say I'm looking at goats or something, then boom, I'll dream about goats the next morning or whatever. Yeah, some dreams could be artificial intelligence somehow, where your implant just automatically creates the dream. Yeah, I totally believe that. Where the alien is not actually directly, you know, creating the dream. I can pretty much tell though. I can pretty much tell if I have some dreams that are, you know, maybe just artificial, what's it called? Artificial intelligence. I can tell, but yeah, I believe that. And I have one artificial intelligence experience, because at first I was confused. This was in 2013. I was confused and I was like, okay, is that the aliens doing that? Or is that human agents? And this one woman, she's sort of an expert in the field. She was saying it was probably an agent. And now I realize it was not. It was artificial. It was not an alien directly doing it. I believe it was an implant. You know, my implant communicated to the cell phone, but I can talk about that later. But yeah, that's the artificial intelligence experience I had in 3D in 2013. But yeah, no doubt, some of these, like some dreams, you know, and it's probably the crappy dreams that I have that aren't like super clear, like lucid dreams and virtual reality experiences. It's probably some of those, the ones that aren't real awesome, could be, your implant just bam, booting out the dream for you. Like once you think about something, like you're talking about goats or sheeps or whatever at the bookstore, and then bam, the next morning you dream about goats and sheeps. Yeah, that could be artificial intelligence. I have no doubt. But like I say, I can tell if it's that or if it's an alien directly, creating. Because, most of my out-of-body experiences, that's all directly tamperings by the aliens and stuff. And I can pretty much tell. And my lucid dreams, they're pretty much virtual reality, and those are direct tamperings as well. But some of the regular dreams, yeah, that I have, those could, and other people, because I believe everybody has implants, mostly non-physical. I believe the whole world does non-physical implants, and I believe all of their dreams are pretty much being created for them by, implants, directly or indirectly by the aliens. And actually I did catch one gray that was standing in my bedroom invisibly one morning a couple years ago, and he was directly giving me commands in my brain to just like bam, 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 go on to the next lucid dream, lucid dream, lucid dream. They were virtual reality experiences, but more they were virtual reality experiences, but lucid dream type of virtual reality experiences, meaning the scenarios felt more like other dimensions and like heaven realm dimensions, as opposed to like regular 3D, like this, sucky dimension. Yeah, so they were still virtual reality, but more like dreamy atmosphere. But the atmosphere feels like total freaking different dimension, or heaven realms, like utopia. And he was directly giving me commands, and I was just like boom, 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 just going on to the next awesome virtual reality experience, bam, 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 bam. And a lot of them had to do with like water. Like I'd be like, my car was it flooded, and I was floating down the street. But anyway, he was giving me commands. And it was weird. Let me think of the commands he gave me. I know I talked about this in another video. But yeah, like he was giving me weird commands. And one of the commands was like this woman in a computer type of voice, like a computerized voice. It wasn't a real woman, but like computerized voice. It said, "No." Like it was telling me to go on to the next dream, the next virtual reality lucid dream. And I had some other like interruptions in my brain, and then boom, I'd go on to the next. And I knew the gray was standing there in my doorway, the bathroom doorway in my bedroom, because I could feel him. And also I kept hearing the creaks in the floor, like he was standing there. Yeah, so yeah, it's funny. I don't know why they're so interested in our brains, but Daryl Sims talks about that, how they're just so interested in our brains or whatever, and they are. That's just their thing. They like to create all these dreams and shit for people. But anyway, so like they put other gay male sex in my scenarios too. I haven't talked about that one abduction, but this was a couple experiences I had. It was kind of funny. Well, just recently, this was just about a week ago. The Reptilian took me to South Carolina. And I know why they took me to South Carolina, because I kept watching public television. And there's this cooking show where they're in North Carolina, I believe. Not South Carolina, but North Carolina. And so sometimes I come across it, and I think that's why they picked South Carolina. But they kind of got it wrong, because that show is really North Carolina, I believe, that cooking show. But anyway, this was more like a lucid dream, but there was some virtual reality elements in it. And a lot of it I sort of forgot in some bits and pieces, which I hate, but normally I remember everything. But I started out in an airport, and I was walking around, and I was observing the people talk in a true, North Carolina or South Carolina accent. Then the next thing I know, I'm getting into an airplane, and there was a woman behind me, and I know her well. I'm not going to mention names, but I know that person, and for whatever reason, she's been in many, many, many of my scenarios. Anyway, she was behind me, and it was like she was telling me, okay, put your luggage on the floorboard. And I did, like some black luggage. But then I realized, I was like, wow, I'm in a helicopter. I wasn't in an airplane. I got into a helicopter, and it was small. Okay, so then the next thing I know, and actually I did ask for this experience. Like I was telling the reptilians, can't you give me an experience where I'm like driving down the road, and then I just shoot out of the front windows, and I start flying or whatever. So this is what they gave me, but I didn't ask for them to put gay guy sex in my scenario. Okay, so this is what they gave me. So then when I got into they took me to South Carolina, and then when I got into the helicopter, this part was virtual reality. This part was a blast. We weren't very high off the ground either. And this isn't the first time they've given me this awesome, the last experience they gave me like this, I was in a huge airplane. And that woman was also in this scenario again, and another woman that I knew very well. But that airplane was like super huge and super wide, but we kept flying, almost like we were just driving down the road, except we were 20, 30 feet off the ground, and we were just flying in the airplane, and we were even slightly going over street lights and everything. It was so funny. We were just flying at low altitude. It was really cool. But this time, it's like I was in a helicopter. So we started moving about the ground pretty fast, like zoom, 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 and we weren't real, I can't remember who else was in the helicopter, but I was in the passenger seat. I don't remember what the pilot looked like or anything. But so we were zooming around, going pretty fast, about 8 feet off the ground in a straight line. Pretty fast. I mean, it was fun. We were just almost like we were astral traveling, except I was in a helicopter. And then, okay, and several times the reptilian would make me stop. Like we would kind of slow down, start up again. Fast. We would kind of slow down, start up again, fast. And then, next thing I know, we kind of slowed down. Well, actually, we came to a point where we kind of slowed down, and over to my right was a bunch of vendors. I mean, like tons and tons of vendors. And it's like they were kind of yelling out, like what kind of services they would provide. Not sexual services. Of course, some of them probably could have been doing that. But just services like you want to buy this, you want to buy that. Or they had, services to offer at this vending site. And I was in a big city, by the way. It was a big, big, big city in South Carolina. And I remember seeing the big buildings to my left. And so I was in a big city. I wasn't in a small town. And so over to my right, there's a lot of people and vendors. And they were just kind of like walking around. They had all this stuff to sell, and they were trying to sell stuff and offer their services. Okay, so then we zoomed off again pretty fast, 40, 50 miles an hour. And then we came to a stop in midair. And then this is the vision, or this is the scene that the reptilian showed me. It's like they were in the back of a truck, but I didn't actually see, the front of the truck. I didn't actually see the front of the truck, but it was like it was in the back of a truck. These two guys were in the back of the truck. And so when we came to a stop in midair, the reptilian showed me the scene. And it was this guy, but at first when I looked at the guy's face, at first I thought it was a woman, because it was kind of an androgynous person, but it was kind of ugly, and it was kind of older too, like 50s. Curly, light reddish, brownish hair, and he was kind of androgynous looking. So at first I thought it was a woman, and then when I looked closer, I realized that it was a man. And this man, he had a funny look on his face too, kind of like this guy right there. And he was sitting on top of, well, the impression was, the reptilian didn't really show me this, but he was sitting on top of a man having sex with him, you know, like, I don't know, what do you call that? I don't know. Like, he was sitting in a seat, but he was having butt sex or whatever. The reptilian didn't actually, I mean, if he wanted to, he could get explicit as hell, but he didn't get really explicit in this scenario. But anyway, so this man had this he wasn't buff like this guy. I was just trying to, you know, make the template. He wasn't buff, but he did have a funny ass look on his face, pretty similar to that dude, except this guy was older, 50s, and looked at first kind of androgynous, like an ugly woman sort of, but it was a man. And the reason why I knew it was a man, after looking at his face and everything, he had these really like see-through white, really thin, almost like a sheet. Like a sheet that was really white, not really white, but a white sheet that was really thin and see-through. And that's when he was sitting on top of this man having sex, that the other man was laying down. And like I say, this guy was kind of, you know, bobbing up and down or whatever. And so I could see like his manhood, you know, through the thin sheets. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I could see his manhood, so that's how I knew it was a man. Okay, so but there was a lot of little bits and pieces that I'm forgetting when I was in the airport. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And but like I say, that was kind of more of a lucid dream, but virtual reality elements. But anyway, okay, so the second scenario. Okay, let me think. Okay, this may take a while to talk about, but I'll try to do it fast. The reptilians, they know how to, let's see, they know how to put, like, your personality, like any kind of personality traits you have, they'll make you feel the same and have the exact same personality and stuff when they create these virtual reality experiences and lucid dreams and stuff for you. They'll make you have the same emotions and the same thoughts and all that. Like they know how to resonate. It's really awesome. So anyway, the second gay guy sex scenario, well actually there wasn't really gay guy sex, it was just gay romance. Okay, so anyway, I gotta drink some water. Okay, the second scenario, this guy in real life, ever since I've been putting videos on, this guy, he claims he's like 29, and I don't believe a damn word he says, but he had been sort of troll, I guess it's called a troll, right? When you just kind of stalk people on YouTube. So anyway, this guy that had been leaving messages on my videos from day one, so over a year now. He had been leaving messages on my videos. And he's totally not who he says he is at all. But finally, I think we actually did email for about a year or whatever, but then I thought, well, it's time to stop, you know, because I knew he's not who he says he is. And he says all these dumb things like, I want to give you money and gifts and stuff. And then he said he didn't believe in reptilians, and I'm like, and then he said he was Middle Eastern, and then when he showed me his picture, okay, this is where you gotta pay attention. When he showed me his picture, then what I just said was all real life, not alteration. That was real life. When he showed me his picture, he totally looked like this gay guy. You know, I'm not stupid. I know what a gay guy looks like. So anyway, and he claimed that was him, which he had already told me he was like Middle Eastern long ago before that. Okay, so anyway, but you know, when you email somebody and they email back, I mean, it's kind of addicting, you know what I mean? So anyway, this is where this because see, the reptilian knew, they know your every thought. They already know that I knew that guy wasn't really him, and when he gave me the picture, I already knew that looked like a gay guy. So the reptilian went off of that. And so the reptilian gave me this lucid dream virtual reality scenario. And what he did was, so he placed me in a motel room. And it was very, very similar to this. I mean, the bed totally was facing that way. And me and him was sitting over here at first to the left of the bed. And, okay, so anyway, so this guy I'm telling you about, supposedly he kept acting like he liked me, which is kind of weird because he didn't even know me. And he doesn't really know what I look like or anything. So anyway, so this reptilian created this scenario for me. This lucid dream virtual reality scenario, an altered state of consciousness. And like I say, the motel room is very similar to this. The bed was actually facing that way. And me and this 29-year-old was sitting down in the chairs over to the left. And it was like another gay guy, walked in and got on the bed. And then it was like, let me think here. It was like as if, okay, yeah. So this, I don't like this guy, right? But he likes me. And, I mean, I never did like him, right? I mean, as a friend, yeah, or whatever. But he liked me, right? So in the scenario, it's like he acted like he wanted to be with me, and I'm thinking, I have no desire to be with you. I just like to be your friend, And then the next thing I know, but it's like he wanted to be with me. He liked me. He didn't want to be with that other gay guy that came into the scenario. He wanted to be with me. But I was thinking, I don't want to be with you. I just want to be your friend. And then it was funny. The next thing I know, now this part was totally freaking virtual reality. The next thing I know, I looked down and I saw his dong. And it was totally real. I mean, totally, totally real. I mean, it was kind of like, I guess, like if you pull down a man's pants and you just see like 2/3 of their dong, like you don't see the tip of it or anything, and it's kind of down, it's kind of pointing down, it's not like hard or anything, it's like he pulled his, it's like the reptilian pulled his britches down, so to speak, or his underwear down, and I saw his dong, but like 2/3 of his dong, except it was just part of it. It wasn't the whole tip. It was just part of it. But that was totally virtual reality. Okay, so then next thing I know, I look at the bed, and the other gay guy, and this other gay guy, he seemed kind of thin, and he seemed about early 20s, but the other guy that liked me was supposed to be about 29, and yeah, in this scenario, I guess he probably did look about 29. But the other guy looked more like early 20s. And he seemed more feminine, and he kind of had lighter color hair when he was laying in the bed. And then the next thing I know, when I started walking out of the motel room, the 29-year-old, the guy that was, supposedly liked me, somehow the other guy, the younger guy, got him in the bed and was able to win him over me. But I was like, I don't want to be with him anyway. I mean, I didn't want to be with him, you know what I'm saying? But the reptilians know like your exact personality and how you would act in these scenarios, you know what I'm saying? I mean, in real life, they know how you act in real life and stuff. So anyway, I walked out of the motel room past the bed, and then of course the 29-year-old was on the left. The other gay guy was on the right, and he looked a little bit younger. And he was kind of giving me this funny look like, ha 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 ha, like I won him over. But the other guy was like, damn, I want to be with her. I don't really want to be with this guy. But yeah, it was kind of funny. But in the scenario, the 29-year-old really wanted to be with me. He didn't want to be with him. And so what the reptilian showed me was that they were kind of like face to face, kind of hugging each other. They weren't like having butt sex or anything. Oh yeah, they gave me that before. The scenario, they've showed me those scenarios before. They'll give you everything. They'll make sure they show it all to you, and give you all sorts of sex. But they go overboard. They'll make sure it feels a million times more than what any human can give you. Yeah, they're really awesome. You need to get to know your reptilian beings in your life, because they give you the best sex, the best out-of-body experiences. Yeah, so anyway, okay, so I did this faster than I thought, but yeah, I'm gonna do a quick video about that not virtual reality, the artificial intelligence stuff. And I know it's real complicated how most people it's very boring when most people try to talk about that. It's like, okay, that's kind of hard to understand, but they can make it easy to understand, because like I say, the scenario that I have, or the experience I had, is pretty easy to understand. But yeah, and they also may be able to, like if you're trying to type a letter or an email, it may not be a reptilian that's directly messing with you, but it may be your implant somehow, this artificial intelligence, the implant making you say certain sentences where you go back later and you read the paragraph and you're like, I didn't say that. That's happened to me. That a sentence that turned up in my email that I didn't even write. It's like the artificial, I don't know, it's like the implant somehow mind controlled me to type it or something. It's really weird. But anyway, that was my experiences about the gay guy sex. But oh my god, I have so many experiences about these lesbian sex that they've been giving me. They give me all sorts of lesbian sex. And I mean, like all these women, I've actually been with them. Even though I never been with them physically, believe you me, I was with them. 100% I was with them, even though I was in an altered state of consciousness. And unbeknownst to those women, I was with these people. I don't know how the reptilians do it, but it's total blast. And of course, I'll never tell those people, hey, did you know I had sex with you? Well, none of these experiences were really sex. It was just romance and fondling and shit. But yeah, all those women, man, I was with those women. Even though in real life, in 3D, I was never with them. The reptilians are awesome. They'll give you a blast. They'll make sure they please you in every which way. Okay, well, thanks for listening.